Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. We are live and absolutely unrehearsed. We have no idea what we're doing, but we're going to do it as well as we know how, which might be a whole nother topic of conversation. How well do we know? Well, just stick around and find out. There's no telling, to be honest. So, welcome everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend because it just started now. You made it. It's the weekend, end of the week, Friday. It's a happy day for a lot of us. So, we're glad to have you here, spending part of it with us here on the portal. That's always an amazing thing. And hello to everybody in the chat on YouTube. And I can't see the TFR chat because it looks like something changed over there. And I no longer have a chat. But hello to any of you over there listening on TFR Live or TuneIn or TalkStream Live or iHeartRadio. So, but we have a full 2-hour fun fest ready here, right in the wings, waiting, and lots to get to. And I'm not alone because I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, and who's also known as the Big Toe himself, Mr. Don Longbeard.
Hey,
Yeah, you need a microphone. This is not his first time, honest.
Check, 1, 2, 3.
Check. Reality check, 1, 2, 3.
Test.
All right. So how you doing, Don?
Apparently I'm running behind again.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
You made it, though. Yeah, I didn't know if you're going to make it by the wire, by the start wire or not, but...
apparently I made it. I just wasn't all together.
Just not all of you made it.
Yeah, probably left some in the car there for a minute.
That's all right. That's fine.
Anyhow.
But glad you're here. Thanks for joining me tonight. And happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, well, it is Friday. I don't know if it's your Friday or not.
To them.
To those who celebrate Fridays.
Yes.
As an actual day.
What the hell is a Friday?
That means the end of your work week before you have 2 days or a day or something.
Yeah.
I'm just working the angles here, Don.
I'm being the courteous laugher again.
Well, God bless you. I need one of those around. That's one of your merits is to make me sound better. So, but hello, everybody. And what the hell else was I going to say?
I don't know.
There was something else I was going to say. But I suppose before we go any further, I just want to say a special thank you to Cryptid Coin, who is one of the sponsors of the Paranormal Portal. The only sponsor of the YouTube show so far. But, we're working on it. Of course, we have all of you members and all of those of you who give super chats as well, which goes a hell of a long way to keep the portal floating. But Cryptid Coin is a newer cryptocurrency that is centered at the heart of cryptid research and investigation. And it's a fantastic new opportunity, I think, for those of you that are looking for crypto investments. I keep stumbling cryptid. It's almost a tongue twister.
That's what it is. It's cryptid crypto.
Cryptid crypto or cryptid?
It's cryptid crypto.
Anyway, you can find more about cryptid coin. Now I'm all screwed up. By heading over to cryptidcoin.io. Again, that's cryptidcoin.io, and see if it looks like an opportunity for you. And you can learn more there. So special thanks to Cryptid Coin for helping to sponsor the Paranormal Portal. We really appreciate it. So let's get on with it, Don. What do you think?
I think we should just get on with it, Brent. What do you think?
What do you think we should do, Don?
I think we should get on with it, Brent.
How
about, isn't there a segment we do right about now?
Right about now, we would do the news. God, it's like we rehearse.
It's like...
You'd never know you were late. And the bow bow was for all of you on TFR who can't hear that amazing theme song. And Don's just over in Muppet Land there.
Trudge, zing, zing.
Okay, well, we are going to do the Paranormal Portal news now. For those of you that are new to the show, this is our news segment, and sometimes it's actually paranormal news, but it's all usually weird and unusual or exciting and new, and pretty much the whole gambit. But I assure you, you will probably leave here knowing something you didn't know when you came in.
Or you'll be stupider when you came in. Yeah.
Or you'll wish you didn't know something that you now know.
That's a good point, yes.
Yeah, there's those.
Hey,
we cover those stories.
There's Jake. There's Jake. Hey, little Jake.
Jake, welcome.
Jake Fortes.
Jake told me he was going to make it. He messaged me on YouTube and said, "Oh man, was it Wednesday? I missed it. I'm going to set an alarm for Friday." And sure enough, here he is.
He is. Yep.
Here he is. Welcome, Jake. Good to see you. Hi, Mom. Mom's out there too.
Mom. Yep.
And hello to all of you guys.
Yeah, all of you.
All of those of you out there. Let's get to the news. The first article I got pulled up for your enjoyment is from unexplained-mysteries.com. It's an excellent site full of fantastically well-sized tidbits of news and information that you can find, and there's several categories to choose from.
Is bigger better one of them?
Huh?
Nothing.
I don't even know. I'm not sure what to do with that one, Don.
You say
hot potato. Right back at you.
Never mind.
But unexplained-mysteries.com. I'm all over the place now. You got me all goofed up, Don. Unexplained-mysteries.com is a cool site. Please go over and check out what they're doing. Help support what they're doing. I got hair on my tongue. All right. There we go.
Cats do too.
Well, I got cats. Go figure. This first one up tonight in the news fest that we got set up here is football floodlights were once used to hunt Nessie.
Huh.
I don't know. I didn't write this, but let's check it out from July 17th, 2022 in the cryptozoology category. There's that word again. Scotland's first ever floodlights ended up being used to hunt for the Loch Ness Monster back in the 1930s.
Ah.
Wow, I guess they were using what they had available.
Oh, yeah.
While only a few amateur Nessie hunters continue to scour the loch for signs of the elusive creature today, several decades ago, hunting for the Loch Ness Monster was a big deal. So big, in fact, that there was even a reward being offered to anyone who could capture the creature alive. God, how big is it? I mean, they don't even know.
Well, yeah.
Now, according to archives unearthed by a football club in the neighboring city of Inverness, the hunt was taken so seriously in the 1930s that new floodlights installed at the Telford Street Park Stadium, the first of their kind in Scotland, were taken away after just a few matches to be used in the search.
Wow.
That's kind of cool. According to reports, a sighting of the creature at the time had seemingly convinced local officials to relinquish control of the lights over to those organizing the hunt. Remarkably, the stadium never actually got the lights back again. And it remains unclear what happened to them or how effective they were at illuminating the waters of the loch. The stadium did not get replacement lights, in fact, for almost 30 years.
Wow.
Oof. Now that's investing in a cryptid search.
Right, there you go.
The Nessie floodlight story is just one of the fascinating memories that our project is unearthing, said Gordon Fife of the Inverness Caledonian Thistle Community Trust.
Wow.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
Wow. Well, there you go. They used the football stadium floodlights to look for Nessie, but I think Loch Ness is a pretty murky body of water.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it'd be like taking floodlights out to the Mississippi. It's like, what do you're not going to see anything better with that. I promise you.
What's that? That's a fish sack.
The fish sacks, the dreaded fish sacks. Oh, yeah. There was all kinds of things floating by when I was a kid. That might explain what happened to me.
You know, the police, even Sting, when he was still singing with the police, said the murky waters of the loch. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true. It's from that one song.
Yeah,
that one song.
Synchronicity.
Was that Synchronicity? I don't think so, though. Many miles away.
Gonna look it up.
But we'll find out the name of it. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's not a clear body of water, so I don't know what they were hoping to see. Maybe they just wanted to see at night, which would probably work out pretty well. But anyway, that's the first story up on our news fest of the night. Did you figure it out?
No, it's not Synchronicity. It's well, it's off that album.
Right. Yeah, it was off the album.
Dang it! Now I forgot the name of it.
All right, so let's. Well, Don will get back to us on that little piece of trivia, and until then, let's get to the next story. And the next story, of course, is from unexplained-mysteries.com. You guessed it. And the next one up on the roster of fun here is check this out. Your brainwaves could be used in criminal trials. There you go, folks. It is the Minority Report coming to haunt us. It's funny how reality ends up mimicking fiction. And in this case, I mean, if you look at things like, okay, we got cell phones, we got smart pads and touch screens and iPads and all that stuff. And all those things were the realm of science fiction. They were Star Trek. They were any number of different things. Dick Tracy from back in the old 1920s comic days or whatever. A lot of those things are now the old wristwatch radio that you could communicate with.
Yeah.
And I mean now there's smartwatches that'll tell you your pulse and your activity and
Have one.
and sleeping. Yeah, I mean it's like so I guess it doesn't surprise me much that now your brainwaves could be used in criminal trials. Witness testimony can be unreliable, but what if we could analyze brainwaves directly and use them as evidence? Ooh, could you imagine that in Johnny Depp trial?
Oh gosh. Whoops.
Wow. Yeah, that would have been a whole different show. American Kevin Strickland is exonerated after spending 42 years in prison for being wrongfully convicted of a triple murder in November 2021. His 1978 conviction was based on mistaken identification of an eyewitness. The eyewitness later said that police pressured her into identifying Strickland and attempted to have her testimony recanted but failed. She died in 2015. Law enforcement agencies worldwide struggle with the unreliability of eyewitness identification and scarcity of physical clues at crime scenes. There's a wealth of evidence showing that mistaking eyewitness identification is a contributing factor in wrongful convictions. Police only collect physical evidence as approximately 15% or less of crime scenes. This makes non-physical evidence like eyewitness testimony extremely important. Strickland and other victims of wrongful identification include Thomas Raynard James, exonerated in April 2022 after spending 32 years in prison.
Wow.
Might have been saved from lengthy prison sentences with innovative technology. Developed by the late Peter Rosenfeld, a professor at Northwestern University, the Complex Trial Protocol, CTP, of course, it has its own acronym, is considered a reliable and sound method for analyzing a specific brainwave known as the P300, Don.
No.
I don't think I have that many. I only got like P12 and under. I don't even know what that means for sure. But
I'm not going there.
this relatively inexpensive and non-invasive technique could be used to determine if a witness or a suspect recognizes crucial pieces of information related to a crime, only known to that person and the authorities.
You know what that sounds like?
Huh?
Ever seen Clockwork Orange?
No. I've heard of it.
Yeah. Well, the famous scene where he's got his eyes, Rodney McDowell's eyes are pinned open and they're flashing these. That's what that reminds me of.
Okay.
They actually have a test for SOs, sex offenders, that they flash pictures up and they record the reactions. Very similar thing, but they're checking your brain waves to see how your brain reacts to those pictures.
Yikes.
So it's already in use, folks, and it was in a movie in the 1970s as well.
There you go. Again, fiction being turned into fact.
That's scary.
How it works? Well, I don't know. We're not going to... Well, I guess we can kind of get into it because it's kind of interesting. We all have been in situations where our attention was gripped by hearing our name mentioned in a social setting. This reflex has been the feature of survival since the beginning of humanity to enable us to detect whether a particular sound or sight was a threat. This involuntary reaction is one of the leading theories underpinning this phenomena. The P300 is an electrical brainwave detectable by placing electrodes on a person's scalp. It appears on an electroencephalogram, EEG, as a positive or negative deflection, a downward or upward looking curve. About 300 to 600 milliseconds after a person is presented with a novel and meaningful stimulus. This reaction is considered a reliable index of memory recognition. It can show when a person recognizes an individual's name, the sweet taste of chocolate, or the sound of an artist's voice.
Right. Yeah.
So, without going into more of this, I mean, it's just kind of freaky, is the bottom line. But I guess if it keeps innocent people out of jail, that's good. But
yeah, but see,
it's still kind of just...
It's towing that line of the Minority Report stuff.
That's the part that's weird. And what if somebody... I mean, so any new science, the problem is that there's so many things they don't know.
Right.
Like maybe they know when something triggers this P300 wave, but what about the things they don't know that trigger that and still could make it unreliable? Right. It's like, I don't know. I just don't trust those kind of things a whole lot. We're never going to have a perfect world. Doesn't matter what you do. So, unfortunately, it's a tragedy, an absolute tragedy that innocent people are in prison. But, at the same case, I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know.
I say not everybody loves Kimber.
Okay. Who's Kimber?
Well, my dog is named Kimber, but they're having a discussion about which is better.
Oh, okay.
So anyhow, it's Synchronicity 2, by the way.
Oh, it is? That's the name of the song?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. All right. I like that one, though. That's one of my favorite police songs.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Other than the one that goes, woo, woo, pull over.
No, that one's not my favorite.
That's not your favorite?
All right. Let's get to the next story here on the newscast for tonight. And this one is... kind of one I thought you could appreciate, Don. This is one of those, and my mom could appreciate this as well. Nice. So, Porter Mom, I hope you're out there listening because I know she's here, but I hope she's paying attention because this will be one that she would like. And this is from unexplained-mysteries.com.
Wow.
Viking gold ring found in bundle of cheap jewelry.
Wow. From
July 22nd, 2022.
Hey, just as a piece of information, when you're scrolling through there, that bottom third is a lot of the time covering what you're reading.
Oh, what is that?
The bottom third here.
Yeah, but why is that there?
Well, it's the news.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm reading it anyway, folks.
You don't have to read it. He's reading it to you.
I'll just keep it scrolling here. A woman in Norway discovered a ring mixed in with a bundle of cheap trinkets and jewelry purchased at auction. Mari Ingelen Hekkestad couldn't believe her eyes when she spotted a large gold ring among dozens of otherwise cheap necklaces, bangles, chains, and other jewelry that she had purchased in an old cardboard box at an online auction.
Oh, wow.
It was bright and gold, she told whatever that is, Bergen Savesen, a local newspaper in Norway. It looked very special, was roughly made, and I reacted to it being so heavy. It glistened and stuck out among the other jewelry.
I bet it did.
Curious to learn more about her discovery, she drove to the regional government headquarters and showed the ring to one of the archaeologists there.
Oops.
It was quickly confirmed that this was in fact a Viking-era gold ring made from twisted metal strands and dating back to the late Iron Age, sometime between 500 and 700 A.D.
That's crazy.
Because gold was very scarce in Norway at the time, the ring probably belonged to someone very important, like a Viking chief, and had most likely been buried with him in his grave.
It's haunted.
Ooh, creepy. It later turned out that the person who sold the bundle had bought the ring from an antique shop. However, it remains unclear where it might have come from originally. So look at that. There's a picture of the ring for those of you that are looking at YouTube. Wow. Wow is right. Look at that.
That's hammer welded. You can see it's hammer welded.
Right down here,
yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. So to end up with a priceless artifact when you're buying junk jewelry.
Yeah.
What a win. That's a huge win. So there you go, folks. There's still treasure out there to be found.
That's right. Just not when I'm around.
Just not.
It's
I don't know.
usually just the
I
junk.
don't know. You stumble onto treasure every once in a while, I'm sure.
Ruger, well, yeah.
Ruger what?
No, well, Ruger said it was cursed, but and
It
it
could be.
probably is because it probably was robbed from a grave, in my opinion. But
I'm sure you're probably right.
yeah,
That's creepy enough as it is. Let me look at the clock here. Okay, we're good.
So yeah,
So yeah, let's go to the next one. Because we only got a few more. There's 3 more, I guess.
sweet. Okay,
Had a sniffle there.
that wasn't a sniffle.
Well, snort, sniffle, whatever. Sounds better to say it was a sniffle time.
Sure.
Don't kill it.
Okay,
You're removing the mystique of the mute.
The mystique.
The
They
mystique
can
of the
still hear it
mute.
through my microphone.
Nah, it wasn't that loud.
Jesus.
Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Next one up. Unexplained-mysteries.com tells us woman captures Bigfoot on trail camera. Yes, folks, it's happened. And it looks just like a lot of the other Bigfoot stuff you might imagine. I guess it's right here for those of you looking on YouTube, coming through the break there. But it says a woman who had been checking a remote trail camera in Washington State came across something unexpected.
Mick Dodge.
Oh, yeah, I remember that show. When Carolyn Day ran through the images captured on a remote woodland camera set up in Washington's Snoqualmie Valley, she expected to see deer, bear, cougar, and other wildlife. Instead, however, she saw what appeared to be a large man covered in hair. I just checked the camera that is deep in the woods behind Mount Si. S-I, is there Mount Si? In the Snoqualmie Valley. Either there's a Sasquatch in the area or I'm being expertly pranked, she wrote. The curve of the calf and the way that it bends from the knee, the length of the arm, the way the head hair sticks out over the shoulder hair, not a seam, both skin and hair on face, deep-set eyes. The image shows the mystery figure entering the frame from the left-hand side with a bright sunshine streaming through the trees, illuminating one side of it. There does appear to be a hint of hairiness on the figure, however, it's unclear as to whether it was a creature or simply someone wearing a thick coat and hood. So, could this be a hairy hominid, a case of mistaken identity or a hoax? You decide. Well, there's the image for any of you that, again, want to look at what's going on here. I mean, there's not a lot to go with.
No, it's just, it just is what it is, you know.
Right. I don't know.
But it probably took more than 3 seconds to cross from the left to the right, so I wonder where the other photograph is.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird because usually they're bursts, right?
There's usually one more.
One or two.
That would at least have him in it, or that.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be really rolling or running.
Yeah.
Just kind of walking through. But
Trudge,
that's the only one we're getting. So, but it's a neat possibility. I mean, I can't say either way. It could be, couldn't be. I don't know. Anything's possible, but it's interesting nonetheless. And so there's another trail cam terror wrong with the news. Is it real? Hell, I don't know. I don't know what scale we're looking at. There's so much we don't know. It doesn't look enormous to me, but I don't know. This could be a redwood for all I know. This little tree in the middle. That could be a full redwood. We don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's probably not.
Yeah.
But anyway, interesting story. Did Bigfoot show up on her trail cam? Well, she believes so. Or, somebody's got a lot more time on their hands than most. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the next one. And this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Again, another fine example of the news you've come to expect. The most trusted news, as it says in our opener. From unexplained-mysteries.com, Pentagon renames and expands its UFO office, Don. That's right. The Pentagon renamed it.
Sorry, what?
Wonder what cool name they came up with this time. Some other dumb acronym.
Yeah, it's probably like 10 letters long.
Yeah, let's see what it is. I'll try to read it.
Oh, well, there it is.
Jesus, Arrow. Okay. The U.S. government's official UFO investigation office is being rebranded just after 8 months on the job. That's what this money goes to. You realize that?
Nah.
How wasteful these idiots are?
You know what? Can you just stop taking taxes out of my check and just give it straight to me so I can blow it on things I actually want?
Formerly known as the Airborne Object Identification and Management Group, the office is now being updated and expanded to investigate more than just unidentified flying objects. Its new name will be AARO, AARO, Airborne Object Identification and Management Group.
It didn't say Aeromug. It just said Aero.
Yeah, AARO. Right.
Yeah.
But it was formerly known as Airborne Object Identification and Management
Yeah,
Group.
there's only one A in there. Airborne.
Right, that's weird. Why is it AA?
Yeah.
Look at the acronym, it's AA.
It's dumb.
But unless they just reused, because it's the exact same words they had in the formerly known as.
Oh.
But I guess it's now known as ARROW, which we don't know what that stands for. I guess Airborne something object. Its expanded focus will look into what are being referred to as transmedium objects, unidentified vehicles capable of operating both in the sky and under the sea. This definition also applies to objects capable of transitioning from flying within Earth's atmosphere to flying in space. The updated name reflects the growing number of reports from U.S. Navy personnel involving objects that have been seen emerging from the sea or moving into and out of the water. Whether or not the public will actually get to hear about the group's findings, however, remains to be seen. Don't count on it. I'm just going to put that out there.
So, AARO.
Yeah.
Association of American Residents Overseas.
Yep. Change your name, Arrow.
Austin Area Research Organization.
Yeah. See, they ought to do a little bit of research before they start slapping letters together.
Association of Appraisers Regulatory Officials.
I'm sure there's all kinds of...
Oh, here we go. Here's what it stands for. All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office.
Seriously?
All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office.
That's really what it is?
That's Department of Defense. Yep. So
man, there's your tax dollars hard at work, folks.
Yeah, no doubt. We gotta find a really stupid name to call ourselves.
Yeah, let's look for a lot of other names.
All Domain Anomaly Resolution.
I mean, it's not even original. That's the weird
What the
part.
hell is All Domain mean?
I don't know. I guess that's how they identify water, air, and space.
All Domain. Oh, that's good. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Okay.
Probably.
Yeah,
All right. Let's see where we're at with the time here. We got literally no time left. I guess that's going to wrap it up for the news, folks. Let's get back to the rest of the show. Folks, we're going to go to our break. We'll be right back after these messages. More of the Paranormal Portal coming right up. I should unmute us, Don.
Oh, sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again here on the Paranormal Portal, and we are excited to bring you the first call of the night. And let's get to this one. It looks like it's our good friend, Mr. Taco Violator from the YouTube chat. Are you there, Taco? Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Good. My daughter wanted to say something to everybody at the portal here, and you guys. What do you want to tell them?
I love the portal.
Ah, thank you.
Yay.
We love you too. That's awesome.
Say hi, Tom. Hi, friend.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Bunny.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you? Thanks for calling in. That's nice to hear you. You sound like you're getting so big.
You're getting big, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow, slow down. You're supposed to be little for a long time.
baby.
That's groovy, man.
Okay, 1 second here, guys. Let me take you off speaker here. Hold on.
All right.
All right.
Okay. She is pretty excited to tell you guys.
Oh, there you go.
That's
awesome.
sweet. Very cool,
You're
brother.
supposed to be little for a long time, they said.
Yep.
Don't grow up too quick. Look what happened to Don.
No,
I know.
Stop. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Are you guys still there?
Yep, we're here, brother. What's on your mind tonight, Brian?
Awesome. Oh, nothing. It was nothing. No, quit it. It was nothing paranormal. She really wanted to call in and say hi tonight. She saw you guys, and she was like, I got to call in. So,
Oh, that's awesome, man. Y'all ready for the weekend?
yeah, she is. She's sitting here yanking my arm, not letting me finish talking to you guys.
She's adorable, man.
No,
That's
go on.
beautiful.
Oh,
That's really cool.
well, thank you. I actually did call, and whether it's live or not. Did you guys got your goods that I sent you? Yes.
Yes, we did, brother. I put one of them on my car, and it's sticking like a pro. It's sticking like a champ.
I unfortunately have no idea what the heck you're talking about.
You want to get them? They're right over there.
Well, here.
Oh,
Do me a favor, Brent. Do me one favor tonight. If you got access to them, show them to Don so we can all see them, and then I can always make more for everybody. So.
all right. Yeah, Don's getting them, and yeah, those are them. Yep. And then there's
Awesome.
bumper stickers in there too. Yeah, those are bumper stickers. Yep. So our good friend, ladies and gentlemen,
Awesome.
Taco Violator made these amazing stickers. And I'm testing one out as a bumper sticker on the back of my car so far. Holding up like a champ, just to let you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, these are reverse clings.
Yeah.
So, you're really not, I don't think you're going to see much on that.
No, they're not, well, yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess you can see that.
Anyhow.
Yeah, it's the banner.
I'm not looking.
Right.
No, you're
I
gonna.
wasn't looking for anything specific.
No.
specific
We're
tonight,
gonna.
but
We're gonna
I
show
know
this
my
because
kid definitely wanted to say hi. So
there's Don's displaying the bumper sticker now. That's really cool, man. Thank you so much for doing those.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
no, not a problem.
It's crazy.
I'm gonna let you go because now she's being a little turd. So, but she's gonna say goodbye to everybody, and I will continue to enjoy the show.
All right. See you, brother. Goodbye. See ya.
All right.
Thanks
bye.
for calling in.
All right. Bye, guys. You're welcome.
That's sweet.
I need one of these to put on my new, I got a new gig box with wheels, and
There you go.
I need one of these on that.
Take it home.
Sweet. Yeah. I'll
Yep,
take that.
take it home. We got a bunch of them, thank goodness, because we of course have heard that people are interested in having bumper stickers. If you want, that's an option anyway. So we've got a lot of paranormal fun waiting for you guys right now in the wings. Here on my second screen, I've got some things pulled up. Jake says here, just my opinion, I think that UFOs are some sort of American technology. I mean, we have cars that can fly, motorcycles that can fly, and a drone you can sit in, just my opinion. Well,
There you go, yeah.
there's certainly merit to that, Jake, because, of course, there's been some pretty surprising claims made by some pretty interesting people. Ben Rich was the former CEO of Skunk Works, Lockheed Skunk Works.
Right.
And he made a statement publicly, at least to some degree, or at least at an engagement he was at, that we now have the technology to bring ET home.
Right.
And Jake, you might be a little young, but there's a movie called ET where it's a little alien visits Earth.
Young. I was like 10 when it came out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He probably wasn't there for its debut, but maybe you've seen it. But it's an interesting story of this alien coming to visit Earth and kind of getting stranded. So to make a statement like that is a pretty bold and profound thing to say, because it definitely implies that we could go to other star systems and bring aliens back, or back and forth or whatever. So we don't really know what that statement means. There's a lot of speculation, but there's long been the idea that there's been some pretty extensive reverse engineering done on alleged craft that were recovered, like the Roswell crash. Debris and stuff has apparently been studied at length in
you think?
In Area 51. Yeah.
They've only had it for 80 years now.
Yeah, you'd think they might figure something out.
Yeah, something.
But so I mean, you may be right, Jake. There might be I've heard of ET. He says, okay. So there's apparently what's called a secret space program, and it's the one that we're not invited to. We get bottle rockets lobbed up to the moon, and apparently the secret space program has like TIE fighters and stuff. I don't know, X-wings. I don't know what the hell they got.
Space Marine.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming home with space herpes.
So
I tell you, man, you're missing out on that movie if you haven't seen it.
I think, is that Spaceballs?
No, it's Ice Pirates.
No, I haven't seen that. No. All right, so but that's a great point. Thank you, Jake, for bringing that up. And there's some merit to that. We just don't know how much. And
Batman says the problem with that is that there are reports dating back to the early 50s about flying propane tanks, i.e. Tic Tacs, well before there were jets. That's right.
Sure.
Yeah,
and cigar-shaped craft. Yeah,
propless,
absolutely.
Yeah, propless aircraft of some type.
And ladies and gentlemen, Batman is here.
Batman is here.
So I guess I can go on record saying I'm not Batman. Even though you've never seen us together, now you have. Thanks, Batman. You kind of ruined that for me.
I would never claim that. He's an imposter.
Nah, he's the real deal. It's got two T's and everything.
Two T's and everything, yeah.
Yeah, that means he's real. So, but
there's
no, it's a new name.
It's
there's too many T's. Not enough tea in this discussion, apparently. Need some more tea, Don. Testosterone, maybe.
And I want some more cowbell on the side.
Yeah, but it's always good to see new listeners. So thanks for coming in, Batman, and for contributing to the conversation. So, we've done shows talking about that stuff, especially the Roswell crash. If you look at our archives on YouTube here, you'll find an interview. He came twice on our show, Donald Raymond Schmidt, and he's just a fascinating guy. He talked extensively about the crash at Roswell and the cover-up and all of that. He researched it because he was one of J. Allen Hynek's guys after Project Blue Book, and he was like his head researcher, and he went to Roswell with a crew, and they dug in and talked to people that are either were around at that time or were daughters or sons of those people, and they had a lot of stories to tell us and some of that strangeness going on. And basically it boils down to you don't deploy a regiment of troops to recover a weather balloon. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot going on there. But again, that's in our archives. Look under the playlist on YouTube for UFOs in extraterrestrial. You'll find that. And it was just a fantastic discussion. He's just a brilliant guy. He's a published author. And he's a speaker. He goes around the world speaking about this stuff. So Donald Raymond Schmidt is his name. Phenomenal interview, phenomenal discussion, and just really, really fascinating. So, let's get back to some of this paranormal.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, 16 sodium atoms walk into a bar, followed by Batman.
What does that mean? I heard that earlier.
No.
Oh.
Jesus.
N.A., sure.
And
okay.
As soon as he walks in, 8 of them say, hey, goodbye, and leave.
Uh-huh. Sure enough. Okay. Well, now I know what that means. No. Clever. I just was like, what the hell is this? Why am I missing? I don't
Sodium,
know. My brain,
sodium's atomic abbreviation is
I got
Na.
that. No, I mean, I caught it. Once you said that, it was like, oh, yeah, I got it. All right, so we're going to get to some articles here. The first one up is going to be from Curiosmos, and this is one that I think is actually really fascinating. There's, of course, a lot of debate about what were the pyramids, what were they really in Egypt, and were they possibly generators of some kind?
You know, I saw an interesting show about that last night.
Well, good. Then you'll be all set for this discussion because this is from Curiosmos. And the article is Electricity in Ancient Egypt, the Temple of Hathor, and the controversial Dendera light. Yep. So, and here's the actual Dendera light that they're talking about, but it looks like a jar with what looks like a snake in it, or it could look like a filament that would illuminate if it was charged. So, let's take a look at this. According to Egyptologists, the alleged Dendera light is no more than a mythological ancient Egyptian illustration.
Whatever.
Well, of course they're going to say that, right?
Oh, what about Baghdad batteries for crying?
Well, I know, but this is established science.
Yeah.
So they don't
Science is settled.
trust the science. According to Egyptologists. All right, so that's who said it, Don.
Okay.
There is a curious illustration inside of Hathor's temple at Dendera known as the Dendera light. In addition to Egypt's mighty pyramids, some of which were built more than 4,700 years ago,
More like 12.
much earlier than that,
Yep.
the temples of ancient Egypt are without a reason of a doubt among the most impressive surviving monuments of the ancient world.
Yep.
The ancient Egyptian temples were already ancient and a source of wonder in Greek and Roman times. Egypt's temples continue to baffle explorers, conquerors, and travelers long after the ancient civilization that built them had vanished. There are many temples in Egypt. For centuries, ancient monuments such as the Great Temple of Amun at Karnak, considered the largest religious structure ever built on the surface of the planet, continued to astound those who gazed upon them. People were left awestruck not only by the richness of the architectural design, but by their collective beauty, massive statues and obelisks, but also by their mind-boggling size in general. The fact is, no other ancient cultures constructed so many temples in ancient times, although the remaining temples may represent not more than a fraction of the hundreds of temples constructed throughout ancient Egyptian history. The temples that remained offer unprecedented clues about the ancient civilization that erected them. As explained by Richard Wilkinson in the book The Complete Temples of Ancient Egypt, temples in Egypt have been described as many things, as mansions of the gods, models of the universe and the land of the pharaohs, portals to the divine, the islands of order in a cosmic ocean of chaos. However, Egyptian temples were not the one thing. They were a collective combination of all of the latter. What about generators, Don? They didn't mention that.
Well, that's because they're not actually talking about the pyramids, but that's okay.
Oh, that's true. They're talking about temples. Egyptian temples were glorious, from single ancient ritual structures erected even before the dawn of history to the massive mansions of the gods that towered above the golden sands of Egypt. Egypt's temples resulted from the architectural development of more than 1,000 years. Eventually, the majestic temples developed far larger and glorious than the people had ever imagined, to the point where they even threatened to eclipse the wealth and power of the very kings who commissioned their construction. And it's a quote here, "He made it as a monument for his father Amun, making for him a splendid temple, a monument of eternity and everlastingness." That was by Stella of Amenophis III. Okay. The Dendera is one of Egypt's most significant ancient temple sites, offering various rich examples of latter temple features. Early texts refer to the temple at Dendera, which was built in the Old Kingdom. Several Old Kingdom rulers, including Thutmose III, Amenophis III, and Ramses II and Ramses II.
No, it's Ramses the Third, but that's okay.
The third, are believed to have contributed to the structure. The temple at Hathor, which stands at the site today, is one of the best reserved temples of this particular time in Egypt. Located not far from the city of Dendera, the temple complex is located south of Abydos. The Dendera temple complex is also one of the largest in existence, covering more than 40,000 square meters. It's huge. The entire complex is enclosed by a large wall made of mud brick. Located in the vicinity of the temple complexes is the Dendera necropolis, which features various ancient mastaba tombs, some of which are believed to date back as far as the early dynasty period of the Old Kingdom to the first intermediate period of Egypt. Of all the structures that are located nearby, the most dominant structure is the Temple of Hathor. Isn't she the cow goddess or whatever? The cod? She was like part cow, Hathor? I don't know. Maybe.
Don't know that one.
Yeah, I think Hathor was like had the cow head. Like many other ancient Egyptian temples, the Dendera complex is oriented in relation to the Nile River. However, since the Nile bends there, the structure faces north instead of east-west directions as it would normally face. The temple was greatly influenced after its construction, evidenced by the Roman-era kiosks and the Propylon Gateway, which were constructed during the reign of Domitian and Trajan. The ceiling of the ancient temples is one of the best features. It retains much of its original color and is decorated as a complex and carefully aligned symbolic chart of the heavens. It also features the zodiac elements introduced during Roman periods and images of the sky goddess Nut. Many Ptolemaic rulers constructed the inner core of the Temple of Hathor. Archaeologists excavating the temple have discovered traditional crypts where temple treasures were stored, hidden inside of walls and beneath the floors of the chambers in the rear part of the temple. Inside these secret compartments, the ancient priests held the statue of the Ba of Hathor, which was only taken from the crypts and transported to the temple's roof in the important New Year's festival, which was celebrated at the site. However, in addition to its numerous archaeological treasures, some of the depictions at the temple walls of Hathor are peculiar for several reasons. One particular depiction is referred to in modern times as the Dendera light or the Dendera bulb. It references a strange illustration that appears to be showing how the ancients manipulate a kind of apparatus. And there's the actual carvings. Oh, okay. All right. And it says definition. The so-called Dendera light is in fact an ancient engraving that shows two oval cartridges with what seems to be a snake inside each of one. The entire illustration is supposedly reminiscent of the inside of present-day incandescent light bulbs, which has led many people to believe that instead of being a typical set of symbolic images from Egyptian mythology, the odd representation on the temple's wall could be evidence of advanced ancient technology in ancient Egypt. Mainstream scholars explain that the so-called Dendera light is no more than a djed pillar. I don't know what a djed pillar is, and a lotus flower spanning a snake inside of it. This is a typical representation in Egypt, symbolizing stability and fertility, respectively. In ancient Egypt, the djed is a symbol of stability and interpretation of the backbone of the god Osiris. The snake, which seems to be emerging from the lotus, is believed to be the symbol of fertility, directly linked to the Nile River's annual flooding. However, instead of this interpretation of the illustration inside the temple, some people have argued that the Temple of Hathor offers conclusive evidence of advanced technology present in ancient Egypt.
Gosh.
Some authors have argued that the Dendera light is not a mythological illustration, but evidence of electricity and light in ancient Egypt. They argue that the alleged depictions of a lotus flower and the snake are much more similar to devices known today as arc lamps. Despite the curious illustration at the temple, archaeologists have failed to find evidence of anything used to manipulate electricity in Egypt, and therefore suggest that this illustration is no more than one of the many mythological depictions of ancient Egypt. Furthermore, there is no ancient text in Egypt associated with the use of electricity in ancient Egypt. Well, there's also no text in Egypt talking about the pyramids, really.
Right.
I mean, there's just this vacuum of the fact that these great pyramids are there, and there's not a hieroglyphic story of them at all.
Right. Yeah.
So perhaps those were the parts that weren't just recorded onto walls. That maybe the ability to have light was considered so sacred and magical that they just didn't carve it into stone so everybody could see it.
Right.
I don't know. there's also a lot of things that aren't depicted in the hieroglyphs in record form that are potentially parts of historic Egypt. So that doesn't surprise me. But what do you think, Don? Do you think that's a light bulb, or is it just a representation of fertility in the Nile and stuff?
Well, it could. It is down in the area typically referred to as the Fertile Crescent.
Okay.
But that's just simply because that's where it's believed that modern civilization, the idea of the idea of getting away from hunter-gatherers and becoming farmers and tenders of land, that's what that actually means. But then again, back then, it wasn't a barren waste,
Sure.
it was the fertile Nile Valley.
Right.
So, you could say that those are representations of fertility and things like that. Sure, they're rather phallic, but,
Cartoonishly so.
cartoonishly so, yes. Well, some of the things I've seen, not cartoonish, is rather disturbing. But regarding that kind of thing, but I don't think that's what it is.
Okay.
The snake is an icon of fertility.
Sure.
So if that is a snake inside there, instead of a filament or a ray of light, say, but Dendera lights, I believe they could be. I believe they could be some kind of a bulb or something.
Sure.
It's not beyond imagining, especially when you think about, there's water that runs beneath the pyramids.
Right.
And the show I was watching last night was specifically talking about them being generators, that they somehow send energy into into space from and it's also those are also near a fault line, a major fault line as well.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Okay.
when that fault line rumbles, it rumbles that water that runs deep underneath, and it could create Ptolemaic energy. I think it's called
Ptolemaic energy.
Ptolemaic. That might be it, but it creates a magnetic field that creates energy.
Wow.
So and they think that those tunnels in the pyramids are actually like transducers.
Yep.
So there you go. I do believe they had electricity way back when.
It's possible, yeah. And I really do believe that a lot of the makeup of ancient Egypt is much, 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 much older than it's given credit for. I don't think all of this stuff happened in the same period. I think that the Egyptians, as we understand them, were a tribe that found this place.
Right.
I think this place was already there long before they were. How long? I don't know. And what basis do I have for that? I don't know. It just
feels right.
right, because there's no record of the making of them. There's no. That would be a huge event in their histories of these Egyptian peoples when they made the pyramids. That would be huge. So I don't know. There is ancient examples. Apparently, I don't remember who it was. Some ancient world traveler apparently came upon a manuscript that talked about the construction of the pyramids, but it was more of a papyrus kind of thing, and not etched into stone walls. So I don't know. I just don't know. I think it's absolutely fascinating. I think there's, again, much like everything else we talk about, there's so much more that meets the eye. The established scientific opinion of this, I think, is just a whitewashed convenience more than an actual exhaustive investigation of what happened and how these things came to be. Again, like the Sphinx. There's no record of the Sphinx either, but it's there. And it apparently probably had a lion's head long before it was carved out to be a pharaoh's head, Right, Don?
Yes. I don't believe that that's originally what it was. I do believe that it was originally more Sphinx-ish in the sense that it was like the lion's head or something like that. Because it does, at the time, it did face the constellation Leo.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Very cool. But anyway, is it paranormal? Well, no, but it does talk about a hidden history. And that's definitely in the purview of the Paranormal Portal. So that was first up. We got about a minute before the hour break, and then we're going to dive into some ghost stories. 23 real ghost stories that'll make you believe in the paranormal. That's what they say. We'll see if that's true, and then we're going to dive into a little bit of Sasquatch stuff. So we'll take a look at it all when we come back. So don't go away. Don't go away.
Don't go nowhere.
Don't go nowhere, because we can't be held responsible for your safety once you leave the portal. Anything could happen. So stick with us. We'll keep you safe while you're here. So, all right, folks, we're going to be right back in just a couple minutes, and we'll continue our journey through the paranormal portal with so much more. It's going to make your head spin. Makes mine spin. So, all right, we'll be right back.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, ripping scars across my heart. Raging anger boils inside me as their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed. I'm not wrong yet. I'm not talking yet. I'm not talking yet. I'm not talking
I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you? I'm 7 cents in like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeist are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Years and years and years. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is now into hour number 2 here on the Paranormal Portal. We've been burning through the night, just creating lanes of fun all over the place, right, Don?
Like Back to the Future.
Just like that. If we hit 80 miles an hour, we might go back to the beginning of the show.
Oh. I'd actually like to go to sleep tonight.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Well, then we won't do that. We will not do that. So anyway, welcome back, everybody. It's hour number 2. We got a lot more show to get to, so I guess we should do that. And before the break, I told you we're going to get back and get to a story about some ghostly experiences.
Oh,
you can believe that, Don?
Ghostly experiences.
Ghostly experiences.
Wow.
That's right. These are coming from Thought Catalog. Thought Catalog's a lot of fun. They have so many different articles over there about pretty much everything. Everything you like or interested in. You can probably find something about it on Thought Catalog. It's a really good site. We've used several of their articles through the years.
Yep.
But we're going to get to another one now. These are 23 real ghost stories that'll make you believe in the paranormal. If you don't already believe, I'm surprised if you're here. So I imagine most of you are believers, or at least you want to believe. Maybe you don't believe yet, but you want to believe.
Just call me Mulder.
I want to believe. Well, let's get into this and find out just what kind of experiences they're talking about. And this is by Emily Madriga. This was updated January 3rd of this year. So let's see what it's got to say. It says, the first one is Auntie Says Goodbye. When I was around 5, my aunt got diagnosed with cancer, so my mom left me at my dad's for over a month to be able to care for her 24/7. Well, one night I woke up crying and asked if my mom came with my aunts, and when my family questioned me, I said, my aunt came to say goodbye and that she loves me and will take care of me, but did my mom come with her? I miss my aunt. 5 minutes later, the phone rang, and it was my mom telling us my aunt had just passed.
Wow.
That's really cool.
It was your aunt.
It definitely was. I don't know how any sane person can hear that and go, well, that's nothing.
There's
You
nothing
know?
there, huh?
Nothing to see here. Move along.
move along.
I mean, you've got to at least have an opinion that some kind of communication happened there that's just astounding. But I think those are very cool. And I imagine, again, I wish everybody could have those experiences. I wish everybody that was losing someone special to them could have those experiences, because it would be so healing. It would make the grieving process so much lighter just to know
Right.
they're okay. I think that's one of the biggest reasons we grieve is the unknown.
Right.
We don't know what's going on after this, and it scares us, and we're scared for those people that we love because we can't help them, and to know that they're journeying to a situation we don't understand. So I think these kind of encounters are so incredibly beautiful and powerful. Speaking of beautiful and powerful, I want to throw this out there before I forget, but ladies and gentlemen, the Paranormal Portal podcast is back.
House return.
Woo! We are back at it. Just released the first new episode last night. Don got it all prepped up and nailed it up on the board, and so it's out there on your favorite podcast platform, whatever that might be, whether it's iHeart, iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, Google Play, or any other number of them. Just do a search for Paranormal Portal and you'll find it. It's very different from this show on YouTube, but I think you'll like it. I hope so. So check it out if you're so inclined. But I just want to let everybody know, because we did take quite a hiatus there for a while. Some of it was planned, some of it wasn't, but we got everything all tied back together, and we're now publishing new episodes again. So we'll be publishing them every Monday going forward. But we just want to get one out there right away since we were live again. So so the next one up on our roster of fun here with these paranormal accounts is snow in Alabama, Don.
Snow in Alabama.
Yep, you heard.
Sounds like it must be hell.
It's when it froze over, I think. No, I don't know. I don't know if Alabama's nice or not. I assume it must be. I've never been there, but
It's hot and muggy.
it's warmer than here, which is always a good thing. So it says, my Uncle Bill died when I was 4. He and I were incredibly close.
Like this.
Just like that, if I could do
Yeah, I
it. There we
can't
go.
do it either.
The joints are getting stiffer as I get older.
Yep.
But he was my favorite uncle, and I was his. You weren't his uncle. What are you talking about? No, I understand what they're saying. Okay. I lived in Colorado, but he went down to Alabama we went down to Alabama for his funeral. I'm 31 now, so I don't remember him actually visiting me, but I do remember telling my mom, Uncle Bill says it's going to snow. My mom calmly reminded me that Uncle Bill was gone and we were in Alabama in 1995. It doesn't snow here. Uncle Bill and I got the last laugh when we all woke up the next day and it was snowing in Alabama. Very lightly, but it was there. Wow, that's cool. That was by Balthazar. Balthazar, not Balthazar. Very cool story. Uncle Bill was right, as it turned out, Don.
There you go.
Next is Ghost Grammy. My mom died when I was a pretty young adult. I couldn't get her to answer her phone, so I went to her house to check on her and found her body. Oh, man. My mom's sister and I have always been very close. When she came into town for the funeral, we decided to spend the night at my mom's for a few nights to feel closer to her and be amongst her things. We were sitting in the living room with her cat when I found her. Her cat was curled around her head. Aww. She loved that cat. We were talking about her life, and it got a little deep. We were both crying and hoping she was at peace. Suddenly, the cat who was sitting between us jumped up and started hissing at the fireplace. Then the flue to the fireplace slammed shut really loud and scared the hell out of us. We then heard footsteps above us in her bedroom where she died. It was scary and not comforting for us or the cat.
Apparently not.
Oh, no. My mom committed, she self-exited and had been really despondent after my dad had died. She was also the kind of person who never wanted anyone to feel sorry for her. I think we got too personal about her life and pissed her off. I've had several other uncomfortable moments in her house while cleaning it out. My then 8-year-old son and I were packing boxes in her bedroom, door slammed shut. It was a nice day with no windows or doors open. My son looked at me and asked, "Why is Granny so sad?" Aw. Wow. That's really wild. Yeah, you'd hope she would be a little more peaceful.
No doubt.
It doesn't sound like she's very peaceful, though. I'm sorry. Ghost Dreams is next. These are the kind that I have, ghost dreams. My grandmother coming to me in a dream to tell me that she died. I was in China at the time. When I called home, my family and girlfriend lied about it. The next night, I had the same dream and called home to check in, but they lied again. I finally got my girlfriend to admit it. The dream stopped. When I got home, I was told that the last thing my grandmother said was to ask for me by name. That was by Mickey Ripple. Last one was by Bo Jenny, by the way. All right, Ghostly Message is next. Another one. When my dad became somewhat of a believer, was in his 50s. My grandmother was in hospice, and we received the news she had passed away. My dad and I were on the back porch hanging out, talking about everything. He seemed off, though. Yes, I know his mother passed, but this was different. He seemed off. Well, I asked him about it, and he said he had the strangest dream the night my grandmother died. He was in the room with her in Michigan. We live in Virginia. My grandmother stood up, hugged him and kissed him and told him everything would be okay. She proceeded to somehow walk out of some new door in the room that led to a green pasture with other relatives that had passed. He could only recognize his grandparents, and the others he didn't know who they were, but something in his gut said that they were other relatives my grandmother knew. It's crazy because now when we talk about it, he doesn't act like it's a big deal. He was just having a crazy dream that was influenced by the situation, but he dreamed it the night she passed away. It was like the other relatives and her were telling him, "It'll be okay. I'm better off now." That was by Boo Booped.
Okay.
But there again, another very cool experience. I think those dreams are very real. I've experienced those a few times. 3 that I can remember, and 4 if you count. Actually, if you count instances, it's like more like 6. But it involved 3 of my deceased loved ones. So, sorry, just froggy. I've been talking a lot, so I start doing these shows and I'm talking all the time. Mom is the next one. My mom passed away in early November of 2005. I'd gotten married at the end of May of that year, and she waited to tell the family that she was sick until the end of June. She didn't want to take away from the joy of the baby of the family getting married. It was way too fast, and none of us were ready to let her go. She always said she wanted to go at home, no hospice or hospital. And she said it for years, especially when my dad passed when I was 16. He passed at home, surrounded by all of us up until the end. That was what she wanted too, in the house he built with his bare hands and in the house they raised the family in. So that's what we did. Basically, her 6 children moved back home and stayed with her for the final 2 months.
Wow.
We took shifts to see our husbands/wives/work during that time, but at any given point, there were 4 of us there 24 hours a day, making sure she was surrounded by love and never alone. Now, I didn't take her death well. I mean, I did everything that needed to be done and kept myself together, but we were close, and this was so fast, and I didn't want to believe it. I can't tell you the number of times I caught myself calling her, to then just stare at the phone mid-dial and realize that she wouldn't pick up. Well, a month later, after she had passed, I was alone at my own home watching television, and it was about 7 p.m. So dark at that time of year in New England, when movement caught my eye from my eye on the left. 12 feet from me, my mom walked through my kitchen, stirring something in a bowl. She passed in the doorway, gave a little wave with her fingers from the hand wrapped around the bowl as her head tilted with a smile and moved past the doorway. I was frozen to where I was sitting, so I called out, "Mom?" And I heard her laugh, her healthy laugh from before she got sick and couldn't smile anymore, let alone laugh. I went to the kitchen, but there was nothing. I swear on my life that this was real. She was there. The thing is, my mom was a great baker. She passed a lot of her recipes on to me, and while not as often as I would have liked, we baked together. It was time that made both of us happy. We laughed, chatted, gossiped, and drank tea while we waited for some delicious concoction to come from the oven. To this day, whenever I make her cheesecake, cookies, cream puffs, or meringues, I'm happy. I dance around the kitchen as I stir the bowl and think of her and the time that she visited me. She's only visited me in my dreams since, always to warn me or help me with a problem that I'm having. I like to think that she was able to muster the energy to come see me in person just this once, so that I knew she was okay. I didn't have to be sad, and that she would always be there. That was by the original Shebang one. That's really cool, huh, Don?
Yeah, that's really cool.
I think those traditions are important. I think the more traditions you can encompass with your loved ones, I think
Right.
the more powerful those connections become. And that's neither here nor there. I mean, some families just don't have time, but tradition can be anything.
Right.
Like my mom and I would always have morning coffee. That was our thing.
Right. Yeah,
Every morning and this is like just before I moved here, we would just always get together and drink coffee and talk. And some of the greatest talks, just about nothing or everything, much like doing the show. Actually, we talked about a lot of this stuff.
Right.
And it was fun because, mom's pretty esoteric herself, so she can appreciate this stuff.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, I think those things are powerful. So next, creepy old farmhouse. Gotta check the phone, just make sure. Nope, nobody's calling. Creepy old farmhouse. My biological dad lives in a creepy old farmhouse that he renovated. I was helping him build out the office late at one night, and he went to the bathroom, and I kept plunking away. I was on the floor and set my hammer down, and I felt something, a presence, and looked to where I thought someone would be. Nothing. I reached back down for my hammer, and it's out of arm's reach, maybe 5 feet further away than where I had set it down. I hadn't moved at all.
Y'all.
He comes back after he's finished, and I tell him what had just happened, and he laughed and said, "The little girl must be playing with you." Little girl, what? He then tells me that every now and then he hears a little girl laughing, and has even seen her. She's always wearing the same pair of overalls, and she just kind of wanders around upstairs. Well, I'm not one to believe in paranormal experiences, but I have no explanation other than a little girl ghost just wanted to play.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not? It's moving your hammers. Yep, that's good. That was by Bubble Wrap Guy. Next one up is talking to ghosts. My dad was remodeling his old house. See, that's another thing, folks, and that comes up all the time. If you want to know if you're haunted, do some renovating.
Change something.
Yep, start changing something in the house that you live in, because if anything's going to stir up activity, that definitely seems to do it.
Hey, question for you.
Yeah.
It says, Brent, how did you get into the subject of paranormal as a kid? Was it a book?
It was just always a part of me. I think what I love about this stuff the most is that, and I use it in the show descriptions, both on the podcast and here, but I love the idea that we don't know what's going on here, that there's still a lot of magic in the world. Because I think this stuff is very magical. It can be absolutely terrifying and frightening, but we're talking about things happening that are nearly, Harry Potter-esque sometimes. It's just crazy the amount of things that are going on that people are witnessing. And so it seems to me that we're really only aware of a very small portion of this world and our existence in it.
Right.
And there's a lot more going on around us, and that's what I love about this stuff. I really don't want to live in a world where, Jesus Christ, I can't hear myself. I don't want to live in a world where everything's labeled, where it's all static and sterile.
Right.
That to me would be a huge tragedy. So this stuff keeps it magical and keeps it interesting, and it shows that there's so much more to learn, and there's discovery to be made. And we don't have this figured out. And I love that about this stuff. So that's my attraction to it. Now I gotta do something with my headphones because I can't hear.
That was Susie to anyone said that. She said it was a book that she found. What book was it, Susie, that got you into all this stuff? My friend that had a bad wreck called me. He got out of the hospital today. All prayers. Elaine. Well, yeah. Thoughts and energy to your friend there. Sorry to hear about that, but he's out of the hospital. That's good.
Yep, send in our prayers for sure.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, I just think it's for me. What about you, Don?
Me? I've never really, I don't know. I've always been described as a kid with a big imagination. Played D&D when I was young. I was like Elliot age when I was playing D&D. Way back when, and it always kept me fresh and Chariots of the Gods. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, perfect. But I mean, I grew up in the land of Bigfoot, and I never really saw one, so I never really thought about it.
Sure.
I never had a paranormal experience that it was in fact a paranormal experience. I've had things happen that weren't normal like sitting in this chair when something seemed to have passed through me and got cold, and it was crazy, but these are things that that I don't consider them normal. There's something there. Something happened. I'm willing to admit that, but I didn't see a ghost or an apparition or anything like that. I've never seen Bigfoot or a dog man. And I don't want to see a dog man, by the way. You know, but,
Yeah.
you know, aliens, I can believe in aliens because aliens are tangible. There's a tangibility to that idea. And I've always been attracted to the idea that we're not alone.
Yeah.
And we're just the dumb cousins, you know, down the way and around the corner.
Yeah.
And that's where we stay.
Yep.
So that's my attraction is aliens.
Sure.
So.
But yeah, I think it's all fascinating, and thank you for the question. I think that's it's fun to talk about those kind of things as well, you know. And I think we're all on a journey, you know, is the thing. We're all trying to figure this stuff out.
Right.
And this stuff is really personal to me because I just want to know what's going on. I want to know what we don't know. And I don't know if that's a really lofty goal and probably absolutely unattainable, because the more you know, the more you know what you don't know.
Right.
And I suppose that's just as much.
More questions, yeah.
Right. But I think I really love the idea that there's still things out there
to discover.
Right. Yeah, that there's still a magical world surrounding us. So that's my take on it anyway. So.
Right. Well, there you go. Ghost Magnet, it's probably because Brent originally said there wasn't going to be a show tonight.
Oh.
But the plans changed, so
yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, I didn't think there was going to be a show tonight. I had other plans for today, but they ended up washing out. So here we are, and that's the thing. Just that's I never did announce that we were going to have a show either, but I've been so busy all day long.
Right.
I'll tell you after the show all the things that I've been juggling today.
That depends on if I'm going to be able to keep my eyes open.
Sure. Well, but yeah, it's just been a horrendously busy day, but in a good day. I got a lot of things accomplished today. So, but yeah, I didn't know there was going to be a show, so I appreciate that you guys have shown up, because I told you there probably wasn't going to be, but there is, and there will be tomorrow too.
And here y'all are.
Here y'all are hanging out with us here on the Paranormal Farm. All right, Little Girl Ghost is next. Excuse me, hold on. Frog. Had a little girl that haunted the house that I lived. She mostly just liked to play games and just hide stuff from you. Sometimes it would be on the table, go upstairs, and when you came back down, nowhere to be found. Noticed when I asked nicely, when I did the routine again, it would be back in the exact spot it was before. Unfortunately, she liked to give you the absolute worst nightmares and sleep paralysis ever occasionally. That was by Mugwort Herb 7. I'm here to tell you, if it's giving you sleep paralysis and nightmares, it's not a little girl.
It might be the mugwort.
It could be. Yeah, I don't know. It's something that you probably need to sage the hell out of your house and do some cleansing.
Or lighten up on the mugwort.
Or lighten up on it, yeah. The next one up is Laughter. Oh, that was by, Mugwort Herb. I said that. Laughter is next. I encountered a ghost of a little girl once. See, now here's the thing. I just got to go on record. I haven't said this for a long time, but I'm here to tell you. You'll hear these stories. It was a little girl. It was a little girl ghost. There's a little kid ghost. It's so cute. And here's the thing.
Nothing but trouble.
Right. It always starts out with it's a little girl, cute ghost, and we bought it presents and we welcome it into our house. And then it ends up with screaming and exorcisms. So here's the thing. And I guess I used to say this stuff a lot, so I kind of stopped saying it because I don't want to be too redundant. But since we haven't covered it for a long time, basically lower vibrational horrible entities want to take something from you. And I don't always pretend to know what that is. Of course, we all know about possession and, of course, oppression and things like that. But there's also the idea that some of these entities feed on people. They feed on whether it's the life force, whether it's the fear, whether it's any number of vibrations that sustain them or whatever. Because yeah, it's like that. But because the idea that I've heard is that since they're not in the light, so to speak, that they are needing some energetic sustenance, and so they feed on people, much like parasites. So if you look at the predatory animals in nature, they are very good at blending in, and they try. There's some that appear to be wounded. There's some animals out there that will put on a show to give the impression that they're not dangerous. Some of them look like sticks. Some of them look like logs. Some of them are camouflaged so you can't see them in leaves. And then all of a sudden, boom. So one of the best ways to get past the defenses of people is to look helpless. And so if you're a normal person, if you're a normal functioning adult or person, I don't mean only the adults, but when we see a child that needs help, we're almost genetically programmed to help. I mean, our hearts open up. We're just like, oh my God, we have to fix this. We have to make this better. So you automatically open yourself up because you've got a little scared little ghost girl.
Right.
And so you want to help it. You want to make it feel comfortable and safe. You want to protect it. It's just incumbent in our nature. So if you were a dark, well, not saying demonic necessarily, but a dark entity, and you wanted to get through a person's defenses so that you can sustain yourself, one of the best ways to do that is to appear like a little girl. So if you see a little girl ghost, be careful. I've warned you. All right, we're going to go to break, folks. We'll be right back after these messages for the last half hour of the show. Don't go away.
If you are waking up, think.
All right, folks, this is the last part of the show. Wow. It's gone fast, huh, Don?
Yes, it has.
Every show I say the same thing, but every show I'm still as surprised that it's like, God, there's only a half hour left.
Yeah, we fly by night.
And the seat of our pants. Ah. Thank you.
Or in a tight blue tank top.
Captain America. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we got some more paranormal. I don't know. You want to just, what do you think? Continue that, or should we go to something else?
Hey, whatever you want.
I don't know how many more are left. I guess it's about halfway. We can stop there on that one. Let's see what else I got. Here's some. Now let's go to something else. Let's in the spirit of our good friend Mr. Wes Germer.
I hear this suck up coming.
Our good friend Mr. Wes Germer, who also made these lower thirds here,
yes,
as you can see, for Don and I. They look awful nice.
They're pretty spiffy.
Damn right, making us. He's bringing class. He's classing up the joint.
Right, to this fly-by-night show.
Well, but we look good flying. We're looking good. That's all that matters. So we got an article here from Sasquatch Chronicles blog, and again, obviously you guys know Sasquatch Chronicles, the podcast, but
Never heard of it.
Check out, yeah, right. But check out the blog as well. There's a lot of incredible articles and references and material over there to check out as well. And this one is from July 12th. Excuse me. God, I'm just froggy tonight. Hold on. There, I go better.
There you go. You better.
I go better. This is Sasquatch Chronicles blog, July 12th. Something paced him along the tree and brush-filled hillside. Yep, that's a big tactic. Let's see what it says. A listener writes, the first time I realized Bigfoot Sasquatch might possibly be real was in the early 2000s when I was starting out as a youth minister. My pastor at the time in North Louisiana shared an encounter he had in the early 1980s. This encounter was very similar to testimonials you have on your show. He was a Christian camp counselor in rural Arkansas. One evening, he had something pace him along a tree and brush-filled hillside when he was returning to his cabin. He was walking on a flat trail which hugged a 45-degree slope. He would stop, and footsteps would stop a few seconds after, 20 feet high on the hillside. Well, this happened multiple times when he yelled there was no echo, so he knew his footsteps weren't echoing. After a minute of this, he thought it was a cabin roommate playing a trick on him, so he began to sprint back to his cabin. He became frightened when he realized that he was running full speed on flat ground and something was keeping pace in the dark tree brush-filled hillside at a 45-degree incline. Yeah, they're very good. That's impressive. He said the entire time the creature stayed 15 to 20 yards from him and never came closer, but it kept pace. He described racing for the turnoff, which led to the cabin, and the footsteps stopped. When he darted in, his roommate was standing there and said, "Rick, you look like you've seen a ghost." He really believes he encountered a Sasquatch in Arkansas. I think it's possible. It's amazing because you hear these stories quite a bit where I mean, when I go through thick forest, it's like once I see a lot of branches and twigs and brambles and stuff, it's like, nope, I'm not going there. But these guys must be really something else because they'll plow right through that stuff. And there's so many stories of bluff charges and stuff where they'll just barrel like a truck through that stuff and it smashes out of their way. So I don't know. But the interesting thing is I used to work with several military people back in corrections, actually, and they were retired military or had been a career in military. And they would talk about tactics. And one of the tactics that they would talk about was shadowing. When you're trailing somebody, it's kind of a psyop in a way because it builds up the anxiety of the person you're trailing. But the object is when they walk, you walk. When they stop, you stop. And it's really interesting that, these things do that as well. And I don't know if that denotes intelligence or if it's just, a millennia of instinct. Yeah, I don't know, but it's very curious. But they almost seem, almost precognition about it because a lot of people say it was step for step with very little variation. And then I stopped and it kept walking a few steps and stopped. Usually it's like step for step that they're right with them. So it's very curious. I don't know. That stuff really boggles my imagination because it's hard to understand what we're dealing with. All right, the next one up is going to be from Sasquatch Chronicles again. I never did put that on screen, did I?
Oh,
Oops.
no, you sure?
Just looking at us the whole time.
Yeah, that's a scary thing.
From July 14th, I began to feel nervous. A listener writes, in late July of 2021, my family and I reserved an A-frame cabin in Fish Camp near the entrance of Yosemite National Park. Our trip had been relaxing, and we were in awe of how beautiful the park was. So incredibly gorgeous. It didn't even look real at times. It's much like living here, Don. It is very beautiful.
It is, yeah.
Absolutely. My parents had left one day earlier, so we had the whole last day to ourselves. But our last pass to enter the park had expired the day before. We still wanted to hike, but my husband wanted something a little off the beaten path, so we checked out our surroundings on Google Maps and discovered that there was a primitive campsite with trails that led into the back end of the park up a dirt road behind the cabin. We packed a few light snacks in our camel packs and set off on a wonderful day of hiking. As soon as the car hit the dirt road, I began to feel nervous. At this point, I should mention that I was raised camping, hiking, and hunting with my father. Excuse me.
Really?
I'm burp talking now. Sorry about that. With my father, the only other time I remember feeling something similar was when we were trailed by a cougar, which we assumed was protecting cubs. This was a stronger feeling, though, and I felt as if it was urgent that we turn back. I mentioned this to my husband, but as he pointed out, there was nowhere to turn around, and everything was perfectly fine. Well, he's a former Marine and also has extensive experience in the wilderness as well.
Right.
His logic was that he would pick up on something if it was worth worrying about. About halfway up to the campsite, we spotted a doe standing in the middle of the road with her two fawns. We stopped the car about 30 yards away from her and waited for her to jump off into the woods on either side. She didn't. She and her young would lope a few hundred feet up the road and stop again. And this continued on for miles. I took video and pictures of them and for my kiddo to share with friends later. This is odd behavior for a deer, let alone one with younglings. Usually they'll seek the shelter of the trees almost immediately. I'd never seen this behavior before, and to be honest, it only contributed to my growing anxiety. I had assumed there was a bear nearby and that was making her nervous. However, at one point she did dash into the forest and immediately dashed back out. Only she was missing one of her fawns. Oh. After that, she booked it up the road until she and her little one were well out of sight. So it was like that. It was like -1. Boom. We finally pulled into the campsite and proceeded to look around. I had my son, who had just turned 7, stay close as we surveyed the surrounding area. I noticed a couple of bear marks on the trees and notified my husband, who wasn't overly concerned. I should say at this point that I was irrationally aggravated with myself. My anxiety was at a fever pitch, and I really was looking forward to this, and I felt that my irrational fears were on the brink of ruining our day. My son and I sat on a fallen log while my husband continued to explore. At almost the same time, my son and I heard a sound coming from the bushes to our left. What's interesting is when my son was recalling what he had heard, he described more of a whooping noise. To me, it sounded like a bad imitation of a cross between a turkey call and the honking of a goose or duck quack. For whatever reason, the noise, though it was innocuous, triggered my protective instincts, and I let my husband, who was standing near the car, know I was going over to check it out and urged my son to get into the car. I must have been standing about 8 to 10 feet away when I saw that what I thought was an unusually dense area of shadow move. It must have been 9 feet tall, just gigantic. I froze on the spot and started to make this awful chittering, almost chant-like noise and rock side to side. And it started to make this, okay. It started to make the awful chittering and almost chant-like noise and rock side to side. I've never been so terrified in my life. I couldn't move. I could barely breathe, and I'm honestly surprised I didn't void my bowels. It was like what I imagine being hypnotized is like. I don't know how to explain this, but it felt like telepathy. My vision started to blur, and I just remember using all of my willpower to break eye contact with whatever this thing was and call out to my husband. I somehow managed to walk back a few steps and then just fast walked to the car, and we took off immediately. My husband had seen this thing over my shoulder and had the wherewithal not to panic, and once we were all in the car, proceeded to start the long, slow drive down the dirt road. We could hear branches breaking on both sides of the car for about 2 miles. I was sure we were going to be attacked. When we got back to the cabin, I ran and locked myself into the bathroom and started throwing up and became hysterical. It took over an hour for me to calm down. I've heard of people having positive interactions with these things and had assumed that if I ever saw one, it would be a positive experience. I've never felt such an air of malevolent, evil energy in my life. I've never felt so outclassed by another creature either. I know many people believe these things to be great apes, and so did I, but now I don't know what they are. I don't even think they're of this planet, honestly. I can't explain what we experience with any kind of logic. I don't know how we made it out alive. I reported it to the park people. I'm sure they thought I was unhinged. I also contacted the BFRO and spoke to someone there that claimed these creatures are nonviolent, and we most likely interrupted a hunt. I guess what I'm looking for is some kind of logical explanation. I've loved the woods my whole life, and now I'm terrified of them. I can't go hiking or camping in the wilderness alone anymore without jumping at every noise. What once gave me a sense of peace now gives me anxiety. We now only camp or hike in well-populated sites and trails. I still have nightmares about once or twice a month. My husband seems to think that they're territorial, but generally nonviolent as well, citing that if it had wanted to kill us, it could have very easily. I just want to understand what these things are. If you could point me to a place that had more information about these creatures or have any insight, I would appreciate it. Are there any people out there with encounters similar to mine? I've searched the internet, but all of the sightings seems to differ so much with little consistency. I really need a rational place to file whatever this was in my brain. My husband would love to take off-grid family camping trips in the future, and I don't want my fears to be the reason my son doesn't get to experience nature the way that both my husband and I have.
That's true, yeah.
You know,
That would suck.
It would suck. I don't know. I don't know. I think the husband's probably right though, because really, they could outclass any person one-on-one.
Yep.
And we're not much of a resistance other than the use of firearms. We're pretty easy prey on the whole natural scale of things. So if it had wanted to kill these people, that would have been a statistic. They would have been David Blightus would be talking about them.
Yeah, true enough.
So I don't know. I mean, sure, they definitely didn't want her there and them there. But I think that the hubby's right. I think it's territorial. What do you think?
I agree, because when we were up at Bloom Lake that one time, and we heard what we believe was a couple big thumps on what seemed to be like hollow ground, I don't know how to, but it's I think it's more territorial. Yep. And plus we have lots of anecdotal evidence saying that they'd rather chase you out of their territory than do something actually to you.
Sure. So
we've got our friend Cindy Goodbreak that she was up in the Clagstone area up here over by Hoodoo, and she said that she thought it was keeping pace with her vehicle at about 45 miles an hour.
Right.
So I think they're just mostly, if they can get away with it, they'll just intimidate you off their land.
Right.
Like, you goddamn kids, get off my lawn. So I think that's it. And but I do think that if you put them in a position where they feel like they have to take care of business, if you're their business, you're in trouble.
You're gonna get taken care of. So here's what it just occurred to me, and maybe this is something, I don't know, but if you look at like gorillas and stuff, for the most part, the gorillas seem very passive. However,
right.
The silverback is no joke.
Right.
The silverback goes out of his way to get people the hell away or to keep his harem safe or whatever, the family group safe. And I wonder if the same is similar for the Sasquatch. Like maybe a lot of these encounters are with the lesser of the family group, maybe adolescents or the mother or something like that. Whereas the alpha accounts are much like this, where they're absolutely terrifying.
Right.
And they do seem to have some way to flip a switch and make people afraid. Because so many times we cover on the show, people are in the outdoors. They're in a very docile, peaceful place, and just it's like something threw a switch, like boom, and everything gets quiet. Like everything gets quiet, even the bugs,
right? And
even the wind seems to be holding its breath, and you're stuck there in that moment until whatever it is lightens up. But now I don't know. Is that a extra sensory kind of ability or something? I don't know. But they do seem to know what we're thinking. Because what was it? Was it Wednesday night? We covered a story where the woman was with her dog, or the woman was with a dog hiking in a woodland she wasn't familiar with, and she ended up hearing something, and on a trail below them, on like a trail below, she saw a big Sasquatch walking away, and she was holding the dog close, which was shivering and shaking. And she thought to herself, "Oh, thank God it didn't see us." And right then, it turned and looked right at her with red glowing eyes.
Right. Yeah.
Like as soon as she thought that thought, it went, "No, I see you,
and I want you to know, I know you're here."
Yeah, exactly. But I'm choosing not to pound you into pudding.
Yeah, exactly. And so I do believe that they'll intimidate you off their land. Yeah. Then but they'll get crazy if they gotta get crazy.
Right. Yeah, they seem to have the ability. But, yeah, I wonder if it's the alphas that people are running into with these.
Maybe rogues.
Because even when you think of Claire's account, the famous Sasquatch Chronicles episode of Claire, who is up on a hillside photographing or trying to photograph, seeing a family group in a bay below, and she dropped her lens cap, and it clicked, and the alpha was in the water, looked up, and made a beeline for her. Not running, but just a stride that looked like it was floating. And it was the mother Squatch that kind of interceded. And it looked like they were arguing, and then, she's standing there. They're both on the path in front of her, like very close. And then the big one just roars, and she goes unconscious.
Right.
And the next thing she knows, she's waking up next to her car, like she's been dragged all the way there with scratches all over her body.
Right.
And so it's like the alpha would have probably, just as soon ripped her in half. But maybe the alpha female was like, no. Come on, Jerry, keep it together. So I don't know.
Come on, Jerry.
I don't know. Maybe Sasquatch males are Jerry's. I don't know.
Nice.
I don't even know what that means. But anyway, it seems to be, again, the full spectrum of behaviors as there are in people. So whatever that means, folks, we don't know. But it's really fun to postulate possibilities. Speaking of possibilities, Don.
Possibilities.
Do you know where we're going to be in September?
Vernal, Utah.
That's the place. I thought since
Damn
we got
Jerry,
about huh?
It absolutely does. Says, "Damn it, Jerry, your blood pressure."
Come on, Jerry, you forgot your meds.
You got to eat some more beets. They're good for your blood pressure.
We're going to be in Phenomicon, ladies and gentlemen.
Phenomicon.
In this place right here in Vernal, Utah, in September 8th through the 11th. Don and I, maybe Sheldon, we'll see, but are going to be making the journey to Vernal, Utah. And when we're there, we're going to meet all these wonderful people. And that includes April Slaughter, Jeff Meldrum, Greg Lawson, James Kean, Russ Accord.
Who's that?
Yeah, he's some guy that's on this one show. He's, of course, some guy on this one show. It's Russ Accord is from Expedition Bigfoot, along with Ronnie LeBlanc and Maria Mayer, Dr. Maria Mayer, from Expedition Bigfoot are going to be there. Dr. Travis Taylor from the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, and several of these people in here are from the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. And there's so many fantastic personalities going to be there, but this is in September 8th through the 11th in Vernal, Utah. If you want more information, go to phenomicon.net.
Hey, isn't that new guy going to be there too? What's his name? Les Burger.
Les Burger. Jeez. Here
We-
we go.
Wes Germer?
Wes Germer. There it
Germer.
is.
Germer. Wes Germer's supposed to be there too.
Yep, he's apparently going to be there too, folks.
Yeah,
And
that's what he says.
if everything is, if the gods and the stars align, then we'll get a booth right next to him and get to harass each other all day.
Oh boy. And then of course with our luck, you know who'd be right next to us, right, is Russ Accord.
Absolutely.
And then it'd just be a nightmare.
It would just be a bunch of mayhem all in one
man.
little spot of the floor.
No
So,
doubt.
but yeah, that's coming up, and you can see on this site there's a huge, expansive calendar of events
There's
going
not
on.
like 5 minutes of breathing time between all that.
Right. I mean, it's just going to be,
happen.
and it's several days long, so it's going to be a huge event.
Yeah.
But these speakers are going to be fantastic, and it just sounds like it's going to be a fun time. So I hope any of you are in the neighborhood in Vernal, Utah, September 8th through the 11th. You can head over and make sure you say hi to Don and myself, and of course Wes when he's there. And you can buy tickets and get more information about the whole thing by going to phenomicon.net.
Phenomicon. Dun, 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 dun,
Phenomicon.
dun, 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 dun.
Phenomicon.
Dun, 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 dun.
There you go, folks. Phenomicon. That was not rehearsed either. We do that weird stuff. It's like we've had this collective stroke throughout the course of the show. But that's coming up. We're excited about that because, by God, it's going to get us out of the house.
But it's going to get us out of the state.
Yeah, they're going to get us out. They might not let us back.
Yeah,
down.
that's true. That might be it.
They may not let us
We
back
might
up
have
here
to
in
sneak through Canada.
Idaho. Sneak through Canada.
Sneak back through
It's
Canada, yeah.
quite a sneak route you've
It
got
is.
planned.
Well, you know, hey, down through Bonner's Ferry, you know.
I was thinking head over to Montana and then over, and maybe we could
Oh,
work it that way.
well,
I
you're
don't
hoping
know.
Montana lets us in.
Well, that's true. That's always another issue. But anyway, that'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be neat to meet you guys if you happen to be there. Of course, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be several fun-filled days of Phenomicon adventures, and that's coming up. Well, and maybe we'll have some things at our booth. We're going to have a booth, Don.
Yeah, I still don't know what we're going to do.
I don't know, probably finger paintings or something.
Yeah. Finger paintings with Don and Brent. Brent and Don.
Yep. If you want a Don Longbeard finger painting or beard painting.
Oh, no. Oh, that's
dip that
actually
in-
not a bad damn
You could
idea.
do it, yeah. You could probably dip in ink and then slap it on your chest and sell the T-shirts. The
Oh,
Longbeard
man. The Longbeard, exclusive Longbeard collection.
sportswear.
Oh, boy.
Dip it in barbecue sauce and then slap it
Oh,
on
that
your
would make
chest.
sense. Yeah. There you
Might
go.
as well,
And throw a little smoke, a little imitation smoke on it. There
absolutely.
you go. Yeah.
Yep. And just a little bit of sweat just to make it real.
Yep.
Okay. So that's coming up. We're excited about that, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys there if you happen to be
That's too much energy packed into one T-shirt. I tell
there. Yeah.
you.
There's only 2 minutes left. There's a lot
Only
more
2
that I had on
minutes.
deck.
That explains why Justin's saying, "Hey, good show."
Oh, is he already letting
Unfortunately-
himself out?
Yeah.
Justin, you're not excused yet. Just for the record,
Don't let you go.
you don't get excused until the music comes on. And Susie, to any more do love me, Virgos too. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm a Taurus though.
Huh?
Wah, wah, wah.
That's pretty much.
Yep, been listening. Wanted to say hi and bye. Hi, Ruthie.
Hi, Ruthie.
Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in, and good to see all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here again. I'm sorry I didn't give much notice that didn't give any notice that there was going to be a show because I assumed there wasn't going to be, but it just turned out that the other plans that I had for today fell through. So
Oh, there you go.
here you got me.
Okay, quick roll call.
Yeah,
Brooks, Eliza, Jessica Mink. Hi, Jess. Justin Good Earth here. Maggie M10, how are ya? Rachel Gets It Right. Ruger, Ruthie, Susie 10anyone, and Tracy Gale. That, believe it or not, that's all it says that's the only people talking right now.
Well, we know Portal Mom's here.
Portal Mom's here, yeah,
Yep.
we know that. Brooks is here, how you doing?
Wes may be out there somewhere.
Well, yeah, who cares? Anyhow, Absolute Death. Did I say Ruger Ridge? I don't know if I did. Tracy Gale.
Ghost Magnet.
Ghost Magnet, yeah, Ghost Magnet's here, yep.
Yep, show tomorrow for sure,
Yep.
Ruger.
So the High Tide, how you doing? Blah 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 blah. Okay, well there you go.
There you have it, folks. Brett and Don will meet me too. Yes, I'm sure if you're there, we'll meet you. And any of you that are there at Phenomicon.
Yeah,
So,
and you'll be so disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, once you see us in person, the magic's all gone.
Yeah, it's pretty much done. And the whole thing about studios is angles and shadows.
You're going to realize what a couple of idiots we are. You're just hoodwinked up to this point. So, all right, folks, down to the wire. I guess we're going to hit the music here anytime.
Right.
But remember Teespring, if you want some portal gear,
Teespring,
the shelf below should have some featured items, but head over to teespring.com. The link is in the description. And remember that we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. See you guys tomorrow night right here on the Paranormal Portal. Good night, everybody.
Good night.